Today we have all gathered here for worshipping your Guru. As you know that the principle of Guru resides in the void. This is the principle which gives you balance, which gives you the gravity. The gravity that we have in the Mother Earth is expressed through your Guru principle. The first point of gravity is that you should have a personality, a character, and a temperament that people would see that you are a personality who doesn't get dissolved into worldly things. Is a personality which doesn't get ruined by the skirmishes of life. Is the personality of a Guru which sits down deep into his being and is not easily disturbed or dissolved by any solvent whatsoever. This is the first principle of the Guru, is the gravity. As I told you, it is something which cannot be dissolved into anything. It settles very deep down into your personality. So it doesn't float in the water. Now you see, in the countries which are developed very much, we think that we have a very great power of individual attainment. That individually we are absolutely free, we can do whatever we like. And that's why individual freedom becomes the goal of all democratic countries, neglecting the collective. Of course, individual is important and it has to become all right to nourish the collective. But if the individual does not have the gravity, then they float on the surface. And anything can impress them. That's why we find today people get impressed by fashions. By fashions which by no logical reason are good for your health, for your wisdom. No fashion is good for your health, nor for your development as a personality. Sometimes you look so odd with it, so funny, so stupid. Then they ask you a question, what's wrong in becoming stupid? What's wrong in becoming foolish? The reason is you have an individual freedom, but your personality has not grown. Your personality is zero. You have no personality left. You cannot decide anything for yourself. Whatever is the fashion, you just run after. Is the situation of the Western countries, but in the countries like India now, they are also in some sort of a craze, because they have to still pass through the so-called affluence that you have. So they'll take to the crazes, like supposing somebody sees a very beautiful carpet with someone, then all rush to buy the carpet. They'll do anything for getting things to themselves. So they turn towards materialism also in the same way as you people turn to fashions. The individuality is all right up to a point, but then it becomes a madness. Especially in the West, the personality is so low, is so missing, that any entrepreneur can develop any craze, any name, and everybody runs after that and is impressed. Like a stupid fellow can call himself by some name. Say he can call himself by some funny name, now say poison, as he says. Now to everyone, to buy poison is a very great thing, because it is by some stupid man who has taken a name, and so everybody must buy that. It is nothing special about it. It is nothing special. It is nothing remarkable. It is nothing that will make you something great. But people will buy that particular make because it has a brand which everybody will accept. Oh, it's from that particular brand. And it's such a madness about it. Then comes to the anything from hairstyle up to your foot style, to your neck style, to your nail style, to your eyebrow style. I mean, anything, any stupid thing that you could do to your body is available, and people take to it because they have no gravity in them. The persons who have gravity do not take to such changes. First, logically, they try to know if this change is good or not. But only because it's a change, it's a craze, it's a fashion, they do not take it. This is one of the signs of gravity in a person, that he doesn't float on the ground like straws, but he stays like a beautiful pearl in the deep shores of understanding. So those who are today here to worship the Guru, they have to worship their own Guru within themselves, and have to understand that first thing and foremost thing is that we must have gravity in temple. You do not need education for that, university education. You need not read books, you need not do anything. Only thing is that you have to have your value system corrected. When your value system is corrected, you understand what is good for the society, what is good for it. For example, if it's a lotus flower, it will never emit filth and dirt. The fragrance will be always there. If it is a rose or any other fragrant thing, it will emit fragrance only. It cannot emit something that is filthy. Now those who think they are gurus and have achieved that gravity will never write something which is ugly, say something which is dirty, will never use their mind to appreciate anything that is filthy and wrong. This is the second sign of your value system. In your value system, you have to first of all understand what is auspiciousness, what is divine beauty, and what is morality of the spirit. These three things are to be realized and are to be part and parcel of your being, so that when people see you, they should say, here is a person you can see who has that gravity. Here is the person who has that beauty. It acts inside, outside. A person who has that sobriety inside dresses up in a sober way. He doesn't dress up to impress others or just to show off or to hide something or to expose something, but just to respect his body, he dresses up. When he talks to others, he talks wisdom. He doesn't talk frivolous things, useless things, and things which are of very baser level. In his own enterprises, I would say, he has a kind of a decency and a decorum. Like a person tries to become an expert. A person who worships his guru tries to be an expert in his work. Like supposing there's a person who is an engineer. He doesn't care for money. He doesn't care for fame. He doesn't care for applauses from others. What he cares is, does he really understand his subject matter? It won't be mediocrity. Musician has to be perfectly a musician. Artist has to be a perfect artist. He does not use the general methods of expertise, but his spirit, the guidance of his spirit, he tries to improve. Like there's a poet, he tries to improve his poetry on the level of his spirit, but not on the level of money. Because normally people would write things just to please the majority of the people so they can sell their books, or something filthy, which is not benevolent to the society, not to the name of the writer. They don't mind. They become shameless about it. So, not that the Guru himself has the value system, but through his lifestyle, through his own preachings, through his own behavior, he radiates gravity to others. He radiates gravity to others. So it builds up our value system of a balance. But it does not mean that if somebody wants to become an expert on one subject, then he neglects the other side. It's in balance. It has to be in balance. A person, say for example, who is a musician and cannot understand a painting, he is not an artist. Supposing you are an artist and still you do not understand Sahaja, then you are not a yogi. So if you start from the central point of your spirit, you will be surprised that the knowledge that you receive or whatever you give is absolutely integrated and radiates from one point. So in every way you become an expert. In any subject you become an expert. Anybody asks you a question, you know everything. But in that you know what is worthless and what is of worth. You try to understand what is important. You know, you give up whatever is worthless, and you would not like to know the names of different alcohols. You don't want to be expert in that. You don't want to be an expert of knowing all the names of all the carpet styles. You may not like to know all the varieties of salts. You may not like to know all the names of all the cameras. You may know, but need not feel that you do not. But whatever is important for the gravity of a personality, you will know. So, if you want to make it simple, we can know about auspiciousness. What is auspicious? We will know about fair play. What is a fair play towards others? We will know about what is justice in the eyes of God. You will know about the divine music that elevates your Kundalini. So as a result of this gravity, you get discrimination. That you know what is your personality and what is the water surrounding you. You know how to discriminate. And this discrimination is also actually innately comes from your Guru principle. But once this Guru principle goes into a bizarre state or into some sort of a turmoil or confusion, by so many other things, like you have a wrong Guru, you have a false Guru, you have false ideas, you follow false doctrines, you follow false theories, or you follow false books, then this goes bizarre. As a result of that, you develop Ekadasha Rudra on top of your head. Also in case when you have problems of not temperate and moderate life, if you are an extremist, if you work too hard or you don't work at all, or if you only go on projecting yourself into one side and not paying attention to the other side of your life, with all these imbalances, physical, mental, emotional and spiritual, you develop problems of your Guru principle. As a result, you develop this Ekadasha Rudra, which is the beginning of your destruction. So how important it is to look after your Guru principle, you can see that most of the diseases are caused by this principle when neglected, and ultimately they reach its height, their heights, when it reaches the state of Ekadasha. Now as realized souls, you have crossed the limit. You have come out of your Sahasrara. You have transcended all those things through your Brahmanadi, but that does not mean that you have developed that gravity. You have now achieved a state. If a flower is there and you put the flower on the water, it will float. when it becomes the fruit and matures, then you put it in the water, it does not float. It goes deep down. It doesn't get dissolved. It keeps its own identity. That is what is to be done now, that you have to become the fruits of Sahaja. Fruits of Sahaja. Blossom time is over now, you have to become fruits. And people who see you should know that you have no imbalances at all. You are the people with special gravity. So when you talk to people, when you have any kind of Sahaja Yoga program, you do not behave in a childish manner or stupid manner. I have seen people sitting before me raising their kundalini. It's stupid. Or giving bandhan to themselves is stupid. So even coming to in the Sahaja Yoga, one can have that kind of a stupid behavior or behavior without gravity. Even after coming to Sahaja Yoga, if you have the same style as you had before, then you have to grow, mature, you have to become still the fruit. And that is the sign that you become really the Guru principle. It is important that we have to know the gravity of the Mother Earth, how she revolves with such a tremendous speed, holding all of us together to her heart, and then she emits her beautiful divine love through the various beauties that are surrounding us. Now we can see for us. Especially when I see the big mountains, I feel they are like great saints sitting and meditating here. But they are the only ones who can catch the Guru principle emitted by the sea. As you know, the sea is the Guru principle. And they are so high that they can catch the Guru principle. So despite the fact you have that gravity, you are people of very high standards. And you are beyond any temptations, any stupid ideas, or any ideas that can pervert or spoil others. You stand above everybody else, stalwarts. As we had very great people on this earth, I have given you the names. As we said, there have been 10 gurus, starting from Adinath. We had Confucius, we had Socrates, and later on we had Abraham, Moses, and also up to Shri Sainath we had about 10 great gurus. Now we have so many here sitting down. They are all gurus and they have to behave like gurus and have to do the job of great gurus. And this is what today we have to see, if we can develop that gravity within ourselves and understanding within ourselves. When that peace resides within you, the joy of becoming Sahajogis will be really felt, will be really understood, and will be enjoyed by all of you. May God bless you.